I'm Magnus, and welcome to our info session for today. So the topic again is reshaping the future workflows. Reshaping the future workforce, initiating the app user experience with SAP Fiori. Now, for this info session, I will be discussing what SAP Fiori is, its benefits and the features, and also I'm going to discuss what user experience is and its relation to SAP Fiori. Now, this topic is actually relevant to our current situation with the current pandemic, no? Because businesses right now are forced to have their employees to work from home or to work remotely. And with this new normal, we need to find a way on how we can adapt to the current work setup. Well, in terms of productivity and efficiency. And hopefully with this session, we can see how SAP Fiori can help us achieve these goals. Sorry, excuse me. So to start off, let me just show you some mobile applications. There you go. Sorry, excuse me again. So I'm sure most of you are familiar with these applications, and maybe all of you have these applications on your mobile phone, like Facebook, Uber, Spotify, and Netflix, of course, our go-to application nowadays, right? But of course, after office hours, right? So the question is, why did we download these applications, or why are we still using this application? Is it because the speed? Is it because on how fast we can accomplish a task using this application? Like for example, if you want to buy something, we don't we don't need to go out our house. We just go to Lazada and order stuff, right? Or is it because of the simplicity of the application? Is it simple enough to use? You don't need no instructions, no tutorial. Is it intuitive enough that you use it? Is it the reason, or is it the real-time visibility? For example, with Waze, yes, it gives you the estimated time of arrival, but it changes depending on the current traffic situation, right? And in essence, it gives you the real-time visibility. Is it because of that, or maybe because it's integrated, like most of our social media applications, or maybe it's personalized as well, wherein we can add our personal touch to the application. Is this the reason why we download this app? Is this the reason why we are still using them? Or maybe because of pleasure? Okay, so I'm talking about a wholesome kind of pleasure here, okay? Talking about if it's fun or enjoyable. I mean, if you are having fun or enjoying using the application, then most likely you will use it more often, and most likely that you will prefer this application instead of the other one, right? So these are the factors that we unconsciously or consciously consider when we are downloading an app, or maybe when we are using the application. And these are what we call the user experience. So to understand it more, to understand what user experience is all about, let me just differentiate the UX and the UI. So UX is the user experience and UI is the user interface. When we talked about the UI, it is all about the layout. It is all about the visual design, the branding of the application. But when we talk about the user experience, this is about the storytelling. This is what you tell your colleagues that, oh, this application is very easy to use. This is the storytelling. This is the engagement of the user to the application. There's a usability to it. There's a human element that we need to apply. And SAP Fiori is actually the combination of both. SAP Fiori is the combination of SAP's UI technology and a redefined user experience. No? So maybe you are wondering, why is there a sudden shift in the mindset? I mean, why is there a focus now on the user experience? Why not just on the functionality of the application? Well, it only implies that people component now is as equal important as business functionality and technology. And the reason for that is because of the consumerization. Well, consumerization is rapidly redefining the enterprise experience. So most people now are used to the simplicity and the speed of the consumer apps. When I say consumer apps, These are the applications that I've shown you earlier: Facebook, Netflix, Waze, etc. people People are used to the speed, to their simplicity, and now actually expects the same from the business application or the enterprise applications. That is why SAP created SAP Fiori, because SAP Fiori can transform the enterprise experience from a complex and feature-rich experience to a simple, intuitive, and mobile experience. So that is actually SAP Fiori. Now, so you now may be thinking that, so SAP Fiori is just a user experience. So what's the big deal? Well, to tell you the truth, uh, SAP Fiori is not just a user experience. It is more than just a user experience, because with SAP Fiori, we understand the real needs of the users in order to provide real business results, in order to provide real business benefits. And these benefits are monetary values and the human-centric values. Now, when we talked about the monetary value, we talked about the gain in productivity. So with SAP Fiori, with its great user experience, we can gain in productivity. So why? By focusing on the real needs of the users, we can actually reduce the complexity of the processes and the transaction screens, so thus letting the users execute tasks faster. And with simple processes, simple transaction screens, users will less likely to commit user errors and thus having high quality of data. We can also save on the training cost. Well, I'm not saying that we are going to eliminate the training cost, but there will be a significant reduce in training costs, because with less complexity and increased intuitiveness of the application, where users can easily learn how to use a Fiori, SAP Fiori, then we will then reduce the training or even the support cost. And also, there's a decrease in the change request. As we all know, change request has its own cost, has its own cost. They are very expensive. Again, I'm not saying that we are going to eliminate the change request, but we are going to decrease the change request by involving the end users and relevant stakeholders throughout the implementation process, so that we can minimize the chance of overlooking some functionalities or applications. So these are the monetary values that we can benefit when we are using SAP Fiori with a great user experience. Now, if we move on to the human-centric values, there is an increase in user satisfaction, customer loyalty, and solution adoption. Again, with SAP Fiori, we are focusing on the real needs of the users. So we deliver solutions that actually meet their expectations. No, by lowering the barriers of using a new solution, or making the solution simple, we can achieve higher user satisfaction and again, faster solution adoption. So that is one. And the last one would be the strengthened relationship between IT and business. Now, as we all know, well, based on my experience, IT and the business, or IT and the end users, uh, do not go along well. I mean, usually if you have a new innovation, you have new technology that you introduce to the end users, they are very resistive. But with SAP Fiori, it will be the opposite. Again, from the beginning of the implementation, from the start until the end, there will be a close collaboration between the IT, the implementers, and with the business. And naturally, it will build a relationship between IT and the business. So these are the benefits of SAP Fiori. Now, how are we going to realize these benefits? Now, let me just discuss now the features of SAP Fiori Launchpad. So these are the general features of SAP Fiori Launchpad. We have the enterprise search. Uh, this is actually the Google search of the entire enterprise or the entire application. It makes the searching really easy for the end users. We have notifications. It gives end users a heads up on time-sensitive tasks or information such as approvals. We also have the Fiori default values. It allows end users to enter a primary value that they most commonly use, and thereby saving time and avoiding possible data entry errors. We have web assistance. It provides advanced help capabilities for end users with tutorials as well. And we have Fiori personalization. We personalize views, themes, and application on the home screen. And lastly, we have the SAP Fiori Launchpad. SAP Fiori Lighthouse apps. So these applications are pre-selected applications or collected by SAP that they believe can give immediate business value to the end users. Now, these are the features of SAP Fiori Launchpad. Now, from this moment on, just to give you a heads up, I'm going to show you a series of videos because again, we are talking about user experience and just showing you screenshots will not do any justice when it comes to SAP Fiori. So from this point on, the following slides will contain videos and demos on the features of SAP Fiori. So these highlighted features will be discussed or will be included on our next demo. Okay, so let's proceed. And the first demo would be on the features of the SAP Fiori Launchpad. Now, please pay close attention to the video as it will discuss again those features that I've mentioned earlier.
I would like to show you the features of SAP Fiori Launchpad. The SAP Fiori Launchpad is available directly through the browser. It is our single point of entry where the availability of applications varies according to the role of each user. Let's use the SAP Fiori Launchpad Enterprise Search. This helps to search any app or business object in all connected systems. Let's look at GL account as an example. As we type in the number, a list with the matching account numbers is displayed. Then we can select the relevant account and see the results. For this case, we just have one result. Let's open it to see the account information. This is all the information related of the account, for example, available languages, company data, and controlling data. These are the details of a GL accountant. If we go back to the results, we can see the list of apps that relate to the search. These are all the options we can use with SAP Fiori Enterprise Search. Other features is notifications, like the one that just appeared. The notifications alert us about important updates so that we can take appropriate actions. Let's approve one request and reject another one. The next feature is the personalization. There we can personalize the SAP Fiori Launchpad according to our specific needs or working conditions. First, we have the basic user info. Next, we can change the look and feel of the SAP Fiori Launchpad. The next section is about the homepage. Here can we change how groups are displayed in the Launchpad. Now we are in the user activities section. Here we can activate the recent activities tracking, so the Launchpad will memorize which apps we use most. By activating the user profiling settings, the search output will be optimized. Next, we have the notification settings. Here we can activate, enable, or disable notifications by type or by priority. And the default values allow us not to have to enter common patterns over and over again. For example, we can put a default value for the company code 1710 and for fiscal year 2019 and so on. This will save us time and data entry issues. And finally, we have the SAP Web Assistant. This will show us a menu with the different help area pop-ups. And when clicking on one of the menu points, additional information that relates to the chosen topic will be displayed. And the first option on the menu will lead us to the official SAP documentation. Here we can see a description of the app, key features, support devices, and more. These features will help us to be more productive and efficient without an easy-to-use UX. I would
There.
like to show you the
There you go. So that is the demo of the features of SAP Fiori Launchpad. Now, take note that those features that were included on the earlier video is for the SAP Fiori Launchpad only. So we also have other features like pyramid approach, the overview pages, embedded analytics, and recomposition and decomposition. These other features are more on the transactional side. So to just give you a quick background on each and every feature, because we're going to have another demo for these features as well. So for the pyramid approach, this is just a new way of executing a process or a transaction that connects several apps within the same role. It, 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 it actually provides a single point of entry over an end-to-end process flow. So it means that from a single application, you can drill down to other application that is on the same role. When we go to overview pages, it provides an overview of a subject that gives you quick way to access the most important application. Like for example, if we have a procurement overview application, if you click that application, then all of the relevant information or important information related to procurement will appear. And it also the same for finance and for other modules as well. We also have embedded analytics, wherein it provides insights on live or real-time data that helps users to make better business decisions. No, and lastly is the recomposition and decomposition. Basically, it just compares the traditional SAP to SAP Fiori um, in terms of executing a transaction. Okay. So to appreciate these features more, I'm gonna show you again another video uh, that will discuss the pyramid approach, the overview pages, and embedded analytics. So for this demo, the transaction is actually the managing collection of debts. Uh, it is all on the perspective of the accounts receivable role. Okay, so let's play it now.
In this demo, I would like to show you how SAP Fiori and SAP S/4HANA helps account receivable administrators with managing the collection of monies and their customers owe. They can start with the accounts receivable overview, which is an SAP Fiori analytical app. This will open the key indicators related to account receivables. For example, days sales outstanding, which is a measure of the average number of days that it takes a company to collect payment after a sale has been made. The customer with highest days sales outstanding or with the highest value will be of particular interest. They can click on the Day Sales Outstanding card. The cards in SAP Fiori overview page efficiently combine information and different visualization, for example, charts, tables, lists, and given intelligent insights. This opens the Day Sales Outstanding, which is an analytical app. By default, the days outstanding is shown by period. Let's say they would like to view the customers with the highest days sales outstanding and pick the customer with the highest value. They can click on Manage Customer Line Items to drill further. This opens the Manage Customer Line Items transactional app. From here, they can choose individual line items and action them. For example, they could find a line item that the customer has agreed to pay, say, next week, which can be then selected, and they can hit the Block for Payment button. Or they can click on Create Correspondence to send a reminder to the customer for payment. This will be processed using the Create Correspondence transactional app. You have seen here in the pyramid approach in action. where the user started with an analytical overview app and then drilled into further details using another analytical app, and then into a transactional app, and so on and forth to end-to-end process execution. 10 years manual analysis with numerous spreadsheets is no longer required.
It's a great way to see the indicate.
There. So the video, the demo that I've shown you just now discusses or tackles about the pyramid approach, overview pages, and embedded analytics. As you can see, the graph there or the table there is real time. They are live data. Okay, so to give you an idea on the next feature, which is the recomposition and decomposition, I'm going to show you again a demo on the transaction for managing payment advices. Now, for this video, we will be comparing side by side the traditional SAP GUI to the to on how you transact the same process with SAP Fiori. So let's just move on to the demo.
But first, let's understand another key concept with SAP Fiori. Recomposition is combining multiple similar and related transactions into one single integrated app. Decomposition, on the other hand, is the extraction of functionality from the transaction-based approach of the traditional SAP solution into smaller role and task-focused applications, sometimes also combining functionality from different transactions. This concept has been applied to payment advisors process. Let's look at a demo for recomposition. In this video, I would like to show how SAP Fiori and SAP S/4HANA helps account receivable administrators with managing payment advisors for customers and collect the outstanding dues. They can start with the Manage Payment Advisors, which is an app, SAP Fiori transactional style. This app will replace the transactions FBE1 create, FBE2 edit, and FBE3 display for payment advice. They can see the full list of all the payment advisors for their company code. Let's see how they can create and open payment advisors with one line item, say for $368 US. Let's also see how they can delete unwanted line items. Herefore, they delete the second line item for $180 US. They can also edit line items. Here, they are modifying one to add the customer name so that the payment advice can be followed up with the customer. On the left, you can see that the SAP GUI 3 separate transactions has to be accessed to execute the same process. Also, I would have taken twice as much longer. On the other hand, with the decomposition, a single transaction, for example MIGO, has been split into multiple SAP Fiori apps, for example transfer products, confirm receipt of goods, and few more transactional apps.
There. So you have seen the last feature of SAP Fiori, which is the recomposition and decomposition. As you can see, with the traditional SAP GUI, you need to access three transaction codes like create, edit, and delete in order to complete the process. While with SAP Fiori, we just use one application in order to finish that task as well. And with the decomposition, as we all know, we are familiar with the transaction MIGO or MIGO. With SAP, with SAP Fiori, it ex- it it, it extracted each and every role. Like for example, the goods issuance, the transfer posting, the goods receipt are extracted into separate applications in SAP Fiori. While with SAP GUI, they are all in one transaction, which is the MIGO. Now, I'm going to show you additional SAP Fiori application demos, but these two applications came from SAP Fiori Lighthouse app. Remember our Fiori Lighthouse apps? These are the applications that SAP believes uh, believes that it can give immediate business benefit. So there's no need for you to browse from the thousands of applications of SAP Fiori in order for you to get a real business value or result. So let me just show you first the first demo or the first transaction, which is the monitor materials without purchase contract. So this is more on this video is maybe more relevant to those of you who are in the procurement department, maybe, or if you're a buyer or if you're a purchasing manager. Okay, so let's proceed with the demo.
Hello, my name's Tom Rice from SAP Design Product Management, and I'd like to show you how S4HANA helps people in procurement get their jobs done more easily. So in procurement, of course, I want to make sure I'm not spending too much on my materials. And a good way of ensuring that is to negotiate contracts with suppliers. So the system is actually telling me here that I seem to be having quite a lot of spend outside of contracts. So let's have a look here at this app that gives me an overview of materials that are being bought without contracts. So here you can see, I see in the chart here where the contracts exist. Those are the green bubbles. The system is actually making me a proposal. So these are the ones it's not proposing, and the blue ones are the ones it's proposing. Now, if you look here at the axis, you've got the total gross amount. So obviously, the more you're spending, the more relevant it is to actually get a contract to cover it. And similarly, if you've got a lot of purchase order items, then that's also an indication. And if we look at the top right here, indeed, the top ranked one is in fact this one here, as you might think. Now, in fact, the system is not just taking these two parameters into account, the total gross amount and the number of items. If you click on the ranking, you actually get an explanation. So you have these two here, but also how long have you been ordering it for, or the number of suppliers, or is it still relevant, i.e. the day since the last order. These are all taken into account and then used to produce this ranking. So the system basically is being intelligent. It's showing you a proposal, and you can just, let's say, take the top 4, for example, and then simply click here on the Create RFQ to take those 4 into a request for quotation so that you can start negotiating with the supplier on a good price. So as you can see, with S4HANA, you can get your work done much easier. Thank you.
There again, so that's the video for the monitoring of purchase orders without contract. As you can see, it is a SAP Fiori Lighthouse app, and if you are a buyer, if you are in the procurement department, one of the things that you want to accomplish is actually or to get or to monitor is are those purchase orders without purchase contracts, right? So basically, this application already helps you. No, it automatically gives you an idea or a percentage on how many of your purchase orders are of are without contract. So it really helps. It gives immediate business benefit to the end user. So another SAP Fiori Lighthouse app is display journal entries in the account. No, I'm an MM consultant, so I'm not really familiar with this one, but I want to show this video because according to SAP, this is the most common application that they usually implement or they usually activate for SAP Fiori users. So let's proceed.
I would like to show you how SAP Fiori and SAP S/4HANA helps general ledger accountants with managing their journal entries. There are several journal accounts linked to the company, each with several credit and debit transactions. Reconciling these with journal entries is a time-consuming and manual process which require a lot of spreadsheet manipulation. However, the Display Journal Entries in T-Account view, which is an SAP Fiori Lighthouse transactional app, they can do this very easily. They can filter by company code and fiscal year. The journal entries are shown on the left, and each of the account and summary of transactions for that account is displayed in a card on the right. They can use the fact feature to visually match them. Let's say the journal entry of interest is marked in red. On the right, the corresponding transactions will get highlighted in red. Here they can see that the journal entry of interest is mapped to two different transactions from two separate accounts. The Display Journal Entries in T-Account View app allows exporting all the journal entries into a spreadsheet for further processing if required. They can click on Table View Mode button and click on Export button and save the Excel file that gets generated. You have seen here how an SAP Fiori Lighthouse app added immediate business benefit by simplifying a tedious task significantly.
Okay, so actually that is the last demo for today's info session. um, I hope that the videos that I've shown you help you appreciate more what SAP Fiori is and what SAP Fiori can do with its redefined user experience. Now, before I end this info session, I'd just like to give you some key takeaways before we proceed with the question and answer portion. No? So first and foremost, again, SAP Fiori's UX or user experience is more than just a user experience. It is actually a value driver. There is an actual business benefit that we can get, like what I've mentioned, the monetary value and the human-centric values. It is SAP Fiori is a role-based. We focus on the real needs of the users. This SAP Fiori is also adaptive. You can use them on any platform. Like for example, if you want to access SAP Fiori on your mobile phone, tablet, or even the desktop, it is simple and again delightful to users. SAP Fiori provides multiple features. Like for example, the enterprise search, that is the global search, right? The notification, the personalization, and the web assistance, etc. And again, we have the SAP Fiori Lighthouse apps that brings immediate business value. Now, I'm also giving you the link for the list of the applications of the SAP Fiori Lighthouse apps. Also included in this link are all of the applications of SAP Fiori so that you can browse all of the applications of SAP Fiori. And lastly is the embedded analytics that provides real-time operational reporting and allows immediate action.